How's it going, guys? So as you hopefully know, reptiles are ectothermic, which basically means they can't create their own internal body temperature like us, so instead they have to get their heat and their energy from the surroundings around them, and mostly from the sun. And to replicate that in captivity, we normally use something like an incandescent bulb like this, or a halogen, as well as these ceramic heat emitters. Whilst these have worked great for many years, there's new technology now that can more closely replicate the sun's energy. So I was lucky enough to have Arcadia send me a bunch of products to try out, and one of those was something I've been wanting to use for a long time, which is the deep heat projector. So the deep heat projector is a different kind of heat compared to your normal incandescent or ceramic heat emitters. They don't actually put out light just like the ceramic heat emitters, but the heat itself is different. It's actually infrared A and infrared B. Your standard sort of lights that we've been using for years are something called infrared C, and essentially they beam down onto a surface and they heat sort of the surface, whereas the infrared A and B in the deep heat projector actually penetrates through the surface and goes deeper into whatever object it is. Hopefully it's your reptile, and it goes deep into their body just like the sun would. It gets that energy right down deep into their body where they can use it to its maximum capacity. And so I decided to use this light on my pygmy bearded dragon here. Here she is, and she's been loving it. Her colours have actually started popping a bit more. She's got like these little black dots all over her, and just more colour variation. It's really cool to see, and she just looks really lively and just seems to love it under there. This is what the 80-watt light looks like. It has the reflected base in there and the heating element right in the middle there. This is just like a screen on top here, so you don't really touch it or whatever. And the sort of coil that's in this heat element actually lights up red when it's on, and it makes a slight light. If you're like in the middle of the night and you look over, you'd probably be able to see it, but it's not going to affect your reptile's sleep cycle or anything like that. Now the fact that this doesn't produce any light can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on what you're after. It's great if you need to heat your reptiles all the time, like through the night and whatnot. Works perfect for that. But as a daylight basking lamp for something that likes a nice bright basking spot, it's not always, might not be optimal. For example, I have it set up here in my beardy, and I got it on one side, and then next to that I have to have another halogen light just to light up the area so the beardy really knows where the hotspot is and wants to stay there. So that's the only sort of downside for me, is that I have to use another light to light up the basking spot. But with that said, I could still use this through the night and I wouldn't have to change anything, so that's pretty cool. Now a great thing about these deep heat emitters is they are powerful little units. They pump out a lot of heat, and you can feel the difference. If you put your hand underneath the incandescent I have here and then over to the deep heat projector, you can feel the difference in the heat. The deep heat projector, you can really feel it going through, whereas the incandescent, you just feel it basically hitting the surface of your hand. So for your reptile, it's going to mean all the difference in the world, because it's actually absorbing all the heat it can. And what's quite handy is these don't have to be used on full blast. They can be put on a dimmer, or I have mine on a pulse thermostat, which keeps it at about 30 degrees ambient temperature and obviously heats up the basking area quite considerably more. But that's just a really nice feature, so you can put it on any enclosure really you want, as long as you've got the thermostat, and you can set it just how you want it and it'll just stay there and just work absolutely awesome. So I got mine sent with this Thermostat pulse proportional thermostat. So basically what this does, if it gets too hot, it just sort of pulses the current. So the light's never really completely off. So that's good compared to your sort of normal on-off thermostat. This will make the light last a lot longer because it's not constantly turning off and on. It's pulsing, and it keeps everything nice and within range where I set it on this. Absolutely awesome. These lights will last a lot longer if you're using a thermostat compared to just plugging it in normally. So all in all, I really love the Arcadia deep heat projector. I know my beardy sure loves it. She's always cooking herself under it. And this is really the future of reptile lighting and heating. It's more closely replicating the sun's energy, and that's of course what reptiles are so critically linked to in the wild. And that's all what we're really about here, is wild recreation. And I'm keen to try this out on some of my other reptiles. I've just been using it on the beardy so far because I feel like she'd get a really good benefit out of it. I can really see she has look how active she is. She doesn't want to stop. But I'm keen to try it out on something like my Centralian blue tongues through the night as well. See how that affects them, because during the summer period those guys actually become nocturnal or crepuscular depending on the heat. So those nice hot nights. We'll see how they like that. But otherwise, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, leave them down below. And special thanks to Arcadia Reptile and Bird Australia, my mate Anthony over there. Cheers, mate. I really appreciate you supporting the channel and giving me these products to try out and show you everyone here on YouTube. So thanks for that, guys, and I'll see you next time.